You are listening to her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with Sapphire and Eddie, the front man, Scott. How y'all feeling today, y'all?
Yeah. How y'all doing? I'm good, man. I can't complain.
Ditto.
Living life. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Eddie, what's up, man?
I can't complain. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little worried though right now, with news that just keep on dropping about out of the training camp and about the Cleveland Browns. But we're gonna have Irie Harris from Cleveland.com on to talk about that in a little bit. He's gonna come on at 6:30. But let's go ahead and get into some NBA right now. The NBA is right around the corner. Preseason starts tonight for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are in Atlanta to take on the Hawks tonight at 7:30 p.m. What are some of you guys' expectations for this team and this season? And Sapphire, I'll take you first.
Okay, for me, I have no expectations, right? The first preseason game, we have some new pieces. We have a piece that has returned to us. I just want to sit back and see what it looks like. So this is going to be a fun experience for me.
I 100% agree. Now, are you talking about for the entire season or just for this game?
You can go entire season.
So for the entire season, I will have to see off this game. But of the pieces that we have returning, of the pieces that we have that we already have, and pieces that we got, I would say if we don't make the playoffs, it'll be a bust. It'll definitely be a bust this season. I think we have the team to actually to threaten the East. Actually, so we'll see. We'll see from there. We definitely have the talent, and barring injuries, I think we should fight for the Eastern Conference Championship.
Speaking of injuries,
Well,
we don't have Jared Allen. So he has an ankle injury in the beginning of the season, can't, start this game or anything like that. So I feel like you should shut him down for the rest of the season, rest of the preseason, and bring him in, when the official games start. And we start October 25th, I believe, against the New York Nets, his former team. So let him come and, get some get back, one of the last games we played against the New Jersey Nets that we played against the Brooklyn Nets. We was able to pull that out with an Isaac Okoro. I can't believe I'm about to say this. With an Isaac Okoro 3-point shot from the corner, and we were able to win. So the Nets always play us tough. Mm-hmm. So, we're going to see how that game goes. I feel like it's a good test to start the season. And I'm looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers schedule right now. And after that, we have the Thunder at home. So that's going to be open night. Then we play the Pacers after that, October 28th. And then on Christmas, not Christmas. Jeez, what is wrong with me, you guys?
You skipped a lot of games, girl.
Yeah, what is wrong with me? So on October, they play at home against the New York Knicks. So I think, there'll be a lot of wanting to get back at them. But, obviously the Cavs have to play better. I feel like one of the reasons why Tristan Thompson was brought in, and, Tristan is not the Tristan of, the 2016 team. But, one of the things that kept being mentioned in Media Day was about the toughness of this team. And you see how they got out-rebounded, out-toughened, outplayed, possibly out-coached as well in that series against the New York Knicks. So, I'm expecting better from JB. One of the things I didn't get a chance to ask him is, he was asked last year twice at the end of the season, what did he learn about himself as a coach and he said he wouldn't be able to answer that until after the season, until he had some time to think about it. Well, I hope that he learned some things about himself. He learned about himself as a coach and his coaching style, because I believe that he could be coaching for his job at this point.
Oh.
Because
give it bell. Ding, 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 ding.
Already.
I mean, how do you guys feel about it? I mean, just look at, I know it was one of his first playoff series, but, you were badly outmanned against a team that not outmanned, but you were badly beaten against a team that everybody had you picked to beat, and you were better than. But they went 3-1, They, the New York Knicks beat them 3-1 in the season.
She had me choking right there for
I
a
know.
second.
I'm right there with you. Let me get you some water. I'll be right back.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, you had me choking right there. I don't think he's coming for his job. I think we lost to a team that was actually, if you actually look back throughout the season, they just had our number. You have that one team just got your number. The Knicks had our number that last year. We only won one game against them the entire season, and they played power ball against us, and it won against us. They did it in the playoff the entire season. I mean the entire series. Even throughout the season, they played power basketball against us, and we just couldn't stop it. That let us know that our bigs wasn't as strong as we wanted them to be. They were good bigs, with Mobley and Jarrett. Like they're good, but they're small, and Randall exposed it. Julius Randall looked like he was Shaquille O'Neal out there against him. Like, he bullied them.
Mm-hmm. Out muscled them.
That's all he did. It was just out. I played big boy basketball. He went back to old school basketball. The Knicks did, and we played inside out and not outside in. Where that's a new thing, playing outside in. He went old school and played inside out, and it won.
Jalen Brunson went off.
Yeah. Do I feel again he was attacking the rim though? Jalen Brunson attacked hard.
Wasn't he playing against Isaac Okoro?
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Overall, do I feel JB should have learned from his mistakes? I think if he's a good coach, if he's the coach that we think he should be, he definitely learned. Have he spoke on it? We'll see. Have he shown it? We'll see. It's the first game of play preseason. We'll see against that first game against New York. We would definitely see. Now, as far as Jared Allen, do I feel he should play at all? I'm with you on sitting him throughout the playoffs. I mean, throughout the preseason, because he's supposed to be out for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it'll be the first game. So let him sit, let him rest. Yeah, that's what I have on that. What you got to say?
I mean, for me, I agree with everything you say, including I don't think that JB is coaching for his position, because you know what? You can only work with the talent that you have. And there's some clear differences in who we let go of and who we brought on. And leading with what you said, Rachel, Tristan is going to absolutely define that low post position. He's gonna establish physical presence. So people got to really think a couple of times if they want to try to go up in there the way they did on us, and specifically the Knickerbockers. So I agree with everything you're saying. With the Cavaliers, have learned to take it one game at a time, literally. And I'm talking about the whole
regular season,
right? So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I agree with you, because when you do like we did with the Browns, like jump ahead of the what they say, the trailer pulling the horse. When you do that, you're gonna lose the Cavs. I'm sorry. There's no guarantee. It's not the LeBron James Cavs anymore. This is a whole different Cavalier team. So you can't jump ahead of yourself. You have to take it one game at a time, because every game you saw last year, every game they were a different team.
Yes, they were.
They were a different team every game, and that's the thing about them. Like, you got to
have consistency.
They don't have consistency, but they'll win. But they'll win differently.
And whose fault is that, though?
I mean, again, you can intimate that it's the coach's fault, but again, the coach is not the one that brought the talent to the team. Right? Like, for me, listen, my biggest rub last year was, why do we have 7-footers shooting trifectas? Hello?
What about the biggest complaint last year? Did I not complain about Mobley all last year?
And I asked him at media day, was he going to shoot more threes? And he said he was going to. So he said he's been working on his shot this summer. And because I specifically asked about the 3-pointers, because I think he's terrible at them and he needs to stop shooting them. But he said he was going to shoot more 3-pointers this year.
Did he say why he felt the need?
So last year, Sapphire, all I kept, every I don't care if we win or loss. I came in here and I complained about Mobley shooting these threes.
Yeah.
I said he's a big man. Let him play big. Even when it's bad when Shaquille O'Neal say something about it. Like when Shaquille say, "Hey, he's a big, quick, like he's a Steph Curry. He's not Steph Curry. He's a big man.
Yeah.
Put some weight on him and let him play big man ball."
Absolutely.
Because it's good that you have in your arsenal that you can shoot in your arsenal, but you're a big man.
Yeah.
Use your size.
Totally agree with that. I mean, even if he mixed it with a little, up fake, then to the hole, right? Like I just, and I'm from that generation. I like to see my big men in the paint, right? So
it's a loss of game.
Yes, it is.
And I think if you bring it back, you'll win more than times when you lose. And the New York Knicks showed you that. Like
Yes,
I hate to say it, but they showed you that.
Do you think Jared Allen has already grown into his NBA body?
Yes,
Yeah,
completely.
Yes.
I really do.
Completely.
Absolutely.
So he's a string bean.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Evan Mobley, who has not grown into his NBA body yet, but I don't anticipate him being able to put on a whole bunch of weight. It's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to see him be any type of Shaq Diesel or anything like that. I'm like, I guess maybe he can be, Giannis Antetokounmpo or something like that. But I don't foresee him ever really being able to be tough so much because he's as light as a feather.
I'm not saying he'll put on 300 pounds, but if you remember when Shaq first came to the league, Shaq was only about 225 pounds. Shaq was small compared to what he became. Mm-hmm. Shaq was a little guy. He was just tall. He wasn't that big. But he went to the weight room, started eating, started putting on weight, and making it not only just making himself big, but making myself muscle big, so not just fat big. I'm gonna put muscle on.
And do we know what did he come in to camp this year at?
Mobley?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
And if we can find that out, because here's my thing. I'd love to see in the preseason more of Isaiah.
Yeah.
See, he is what, 6'10", 240?
Yep.
To me, that is, I talk about profiles in football in terms of my running back.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Isaiah Mobley is that profile of that power forward.
But see, the problem with Isaiah Mobley, and you saw it in the G League last year, that like he has the size, he don't have the skills. Now you can teach that, you can get that, you can gain it, but would you working on the off season to get the skills that we need you to have? That's the question. That's the question I'll have on him.
Yes.
Because in the G League, he didn't. I thought he should have outshined. I thought he should have been like on the superstar level for the G League, and he wasn't. He was just
a regular guy.
So if you see him in preseason, and I'm just putting this question out there from a coaching perspective, and he's not hitting that level by the end of preseason, what are you thinking the move should be?
I don't think you put him back. I don't think you put him back in G League.
Okay.
Who, Evan Mobley? Isaiah, excuse me.
I don't think you put him back in G League because I think he did all he can in G League. But I think you get, for me, if I was him, I would go get Dennis Rodman or Shaquille O'Neal and work with him.
Do you think that that's another reason why TT is back on the squad?
I think so.
Absolutely.
I'm almost 100% sure because they don't trust you. They don't trust you because you haven't shown them anything as a big man. Like you haven't shown them that I can trust you. So I would have brought TT back for that reason too.
I feel more about Jared Allen not being able to trust him, and also, his quotes that the light was, too bright for us. Like, you played in Brooklyn. Like, I don't understand, how you could feel such that the light was too bright for you in this series or whatever. So I mainly look at his kind of lack of toughness. Jared is a very good guy. He hasn't that dominant personality that's going to come in there. I'm going to kick your butt. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have that type of personality. And I feel that Evan Mobley pretty much might have filled out his NBA body. So that leads to him not going to be as tough and stuff like that. And he kind of has to develop a jump shot a little bit because, him being, I mean, he's always going to be, at the rack, at the, have a high, shooting percentage because he's going to be right there under the rim. But also, too, I do need you to develop a shot to be effective. I don't need you to be making, standing in the corner shooting 3 points at all. I feel like you can be effective. You learn
mid-range.
Yeah, mid-range game. Come
Mid-range.
come out to the key, shoot it, and stuff like that. But I don't need you trying to be Steph Curry and you're 7 foot tall. So he is 215 pounds, and I think.
About 220.
Yeah, because it reminds you of Tristan McKenzie. He's only 165 pounds. I'm like, I don't know how much more muscle they're gonna put on.
So let me ask you guys this. And this is going back to college though. Do you feel that the college game is hindering their NBA games? Because most college teams are basing their teams off of shooting, their big shooting, because of the Dirk Nowinskis and those type of bigs who came in, the European style of basketball now. And that's I'm seeing that a lot in the college, on the college level now, the European style of play, where you're big to be able to shoot. Not only you take it to the hole, but shoot the threes and all that. Do you think that's hindering the game of basketball?
I think it depends on how long they stay at college. Most of these players are one and done. So they're not, getting too much out of, because they say we're, in college, that's where you really learn how to play basketball, especially if you stay at 3 to 4 years. But, people aren't staying. That's why you see so many upsets in March Madness against teams where you have all players who have played all 4 years who learn how to, play basketball and get instead of your flash in the pans teams and things like that. So I don't know. I think it depends on how long they stay, what program they're at, and who their coach is. How it affects their pro game.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. But I also want to jump back to that last segment about Mobley. He just turned 22 in June. So ask me that question in like 3 years, because I think he's still going to fill out. He's still a baby.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
You know who my sleeper is? Sam Merrill. That's a sleeper. Sam Merrill.
Yeah.
Seriously. I expect him to come out this year, barring injury. Yes, he's got a nice shot.
He better.
So just to remind you, I got to bounce out of town. I'm going to the East Coast, so I won't be around this weekend. But I'm hoping that when I come back, I can have you guys over to my little tiny house. And we can watch the Browns game.
I'll definitely do.
If you are a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces and/or hold a college degree, you will receive additional salary incentives. Are you interested now? If so, please call our public safety recruitment team at 216-623-5233 or go online to Cleveland, Ohio.
But is Valley Sports, is that a separate thing or is it on the direct TV? I'm trying to figure that out.
So,
and I'm still looking into the YouTube thing.
Yeah. So Valley Sports, you can get that on its own. Like you don't.
Oh yeah, they got an app.
Yeah,
you got to pay for it.
I'm about to say you pay for the app.
I think I had that.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the first
lady.
All right, welcome back to Sapphire
Tonight.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. Remember, you can keep it locked right here on your regular radio dial at 95.9 FM. You can download the WOVU app so you can listen to it on the go. Or if you're sitting at home and you need to get online, you can go to WOVU.org and you can always contact us with any questions, comments, or concerns at 216-271-0959. This is your girl Rachel here, and I'm here. Hill, and I'm here with the front man, Eddie Scott, as well as Sapphire. And we were just talking some NBA, and George says, love the shirt. I got on my Thank You Tito shirt.
Right.
The game was even better running into you. He says, I don't give a crap about Evan Mobley and the threes. Put him in the block and feed the rock. Isaiah,
Thank you, George.
Thank
Isaac,
you.
That's why you one of my favorite guys.
Isaac Okoro too. My heart races faster when they chuck one up. Ultimate advice for Jared Allen too.
We know that who we just talked about. We was listening. And y'all know the producer wasn't listening to us.
So you guys are too loud.
Oh,
I feel like we should be wearing red. They're wearing red. Why
I
are
know.
we wearing red? I wore like a
I
Carolina
wore blue.
What's going on?
We coordinated. Sorry, we forgot to tell you.
They didn't tell us. They didn't tell us today that today was red day.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
It's all right.
It's a nice shirt. It's a nice homage to Tito.
There we go.
So speaking of Tito, let's go ahead and get into some baseball playoffs. Now, Sapphire, you said that your team right now is playing, and your team is the Cheaters, the Houston Astros.
Why you gonna hate? Why you gonna hate?
I'm just telling the truth.
I'm just saying. Sometimes you have to be creative. To be competitive. You know, you can't always do the things you used to do all the time.
You mean steal signals and stuff like that?
That's all right. Hey, you ain't cheating.
If you ain't trying.
you ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
So right now they are up on the Minnesota Twins 6-0, and it is the bottom of the sixth inning. They are in Minnesota right now too. So very interesting. So we're going to keep our eyes out for that. After that, you are going to have the Orioles play at 8:03. And the Orioles was my pick, but right now Texas leads them 2-0. So they're going into the danger zone. So I'm not liking how that series might wind up because I was riding with the Orioles. They were one of the worst teams in baseball all of last year, and they became one of the best. So I'm the type of person that root for the underdogs. And then last night I watched that Phillies and Braves series, and that home run that they hit at the very end of the game, and the 8th home run to bring them back was pretty cool. And then that Michael Harris catch that saved a potential home run was even better. That was dope. Money Mike Harris. So this is the second year in the league. Huh?
So he climbed the wall.
Yeah, he climbed the wall. So, he's turning out to be an amazing baseball player so far and a great find for the Atlanta Braves. So that is not my team at all because they beat the Indians twice in the World Series, but I felt like they had what it takes to win it all. So right now that series with Philly is tied right now 1-1. And the Arizona Diamondbacks last night beat the Dodgers, and the Dodgers had over 100 wins. I think they had exactly 100 wins, and this is the same thing, huh?
I did not. I expected. I picked the Dodgers to win this series, and yes, woman that they lose.
Yeah, the Dodgers are probably about to be out, but it's due to Dodger pitching. Clayton Kershaw got knocked out of the box the other night. So that was an issue for the Dodgers, and I'm in a sports group and stuff like that, and I was like, LA pitching about to have them swept up in here. And then the same thing, a lot of fans were mad last year because they won over 100 games. I believe they won 102 games, and they puttered out in the playoffs last year. So you're going to have a lot of Dodgers fans if they get swept by the D-backs, which I think is a possibility because that series heads to Arizona the next game. And let me see what the next game is.
Tomorrow.
Okay, the next game is tomorrow, so that series might get wrapped up really quickly. So that's where we're at.
Late game, not what 9 o'clock.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
What's tomorrow? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
They play on the 17th.
Oh, 17th.
On the 12th. Sorry, they play on the 12th.
Oh no, it's a couple days.
Yeah.
That's
So
9 o'clock.
9:07.
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, it's out on the West Coast, so.
Some games are
But
early.
what's the stat? Isn't like 80%, aren't 70 to 80% of sports fans in the East Coast time zone? I don't know how they figure out what time. They really, there's the game on the field, but then there's all your advertising.
Yeah, and that's where your money comes on. So
right.
So I can't speak for them on the West Side. They make pretty good money, clearly, but I'm like, I don't want to stay up all night. First of all, baseball is already a long game.
Yes, it is.
So if you start,
it's shorter now. It's much shorter.
It's still long.
Like 2.5 hours.
It's still long, and
that's better than what it used to be.
And for it to be such a long game, I'm not about to stay up waiting on the Dodgers to play at 9 o'clock and still make it to work.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
That's rough.
That's so why not push the game up to say 7 o'clock?
Like you do with Monday Night Football.
Yeah. It starts earlier on the West Coast, so you can watch it. game, and even though so people on the east side, where the majority of the sports fans are, can watch the games.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I forgot who plays in England this week or whatever
Got,
in the NFL. But you got to get up early in the morning to watch that. So yeah, I'll be asleep. So I'm not gonna watch that.
Is the Bills playing?
I can't remember, but this is one of the reasons why I don't get a chance to watch LeBron play. Now I stayed up to watch him, hit the record.
Yeah,
for,
I think it's Baltimore, Tennessee.
Oh, really?
I have it. Am I looking at the right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's right.
Okay.
Tennessee, I thought it was.
Yeah.
He's right.
Okay, Baltimore, Tennessee. That might be a blowout game, but who knows?
I'm thinking Tennessee.
I said Tennessee, but
Really?
yeah, I don't know. Tennessee.
They ain't got it together since they played us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mind you, they only lost. I think they only lost 2 games. One of them was to us. I know they lost to the Colts in a really good game. They blew out the Bengals.
That would be nice to go over and check if they ever have the Browns over there. That'd be a nice little weekend trip. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going, I'm over for more than a weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going across the pond. I'm going for about a good 5 days.
And I'm gonna try to add Paris and that trip too in Italy as well. So I'm trying to be gone for like 2 weeks or something like that. So
I got that money. I got that type of money to go to England and Paris.
yeah. You know what? Groupon had a trip though one time for a little bit over a week at those 3 places for like a little over $1,000 though. But they really stopped doing those like trips where everything was all inclusive.
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic, they stopped doing those trips. But they used to have a lot of those trips, and I'm having a hard time finding them now. But going back to the time zone stuff, and that's one of the reasons why I really wasn't able to follow LeBron.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad the second time he left. I got my championship, so I was okay with that. But I'm not able to watch him because that game where he hit the record, I had to stay up late, for that or whatever. And then immediately I went to bed. Like, the Cleveland Guardians open up on the West Coast, next season against a lot of West Coast teams. So, I don't know how that's gonna go. I think they open up against the Oakland Athletics, but those games are like at 10:03 or whatever.
Wow, that's the only time you're gonna stay up. You know you're gonna stay up and watch those games, Rachel.
Absolutely will.
You are you're the biggest Guardian fan I know.
Yes.
I would tell anybody that hands down, bar none.
I'll be watching those games. So
I
I don't even know why I'm trying to front.
You trying to front like you know, watching them. I'm not gonna watch them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I will be asleep. Well, I'll probably be at work actually, but I won't be watching them. But that's late. Rachel, on the other hand, she fronting. She gonna watch every pitch and gonna come on here on Monday or Tuesday and gonna tell you what everybody did with and their names. See, did you see that? She be knowing the D League names. Like,
no, not so fast. I do know about the Savannah Bananas though. Y'all heard about them?
They supposed to be coming here
against the party animals.
Yeah, they supposed to be coming here. If they come, I'm definitely gonna go. I'll follow them on YouTube and on Instagram. They are very exciting, and I like them because they chose not to take a deal. So they fans can stay paying $25.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So they only charge $25 per game for everybody. And they give them free food.
Oh nice.
Yeah. So
wow.
So you get free hot dogs and free
Are they beef?
Huh?
Are they beef? You know how I am about
they're beef.
Okay,
They're beef.
All right, I'm good.
So they got you beef hot dogs and they give you $25 tickets. And they're actually an exciting team to watch. Like they're really exciting. They do some of the stupidest things, but I enjoy it. If baseball was played like that, I promise you, I'll probably be a bigger fan than Rachel.
Yeah, they was a terrible team and not making any money, and then a guy got an idea to do that, and obviously it's taking off, and everybody know about the Savannah Bananas. So that's pretty cool. We should be getting Irie very soon.
Okay, is there a question I should not ask Irie?
I think it's fair game. I think Irie is ready to answer everything.
You come on the show, you gotta. I don't know. It's different from our show. You come on our show, we ask you everything.
All right then.
No. Listen, Hugh Jackson got a. I don't think he ever coming back on the show.
Yeah, y'all had Hugh Jackson, didn't y'all?
What did you guys do to Hugh
Oh
Jackson?
man, we were just asking normal questions, but we went deep. And he told us some things that was shocking. Like I ain't gonna lie, he told us some things that was very shocking. He was actually really shocked to get fired, because it was planned. They were saying that was tanking. They were tanking, and so he was shocked that he got fired. Here, blew me.
Interesting.
Yeah, that blew me.
All right, guys. Well, we have Irie Harris with us, Cleveland.com, Browns beat reporter. So we are super excited to have you. Hey, Irie, how you doing?
Hey, how's everything? I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I didn't have your microphone up. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. How's everything?
Good, good. I'm here with Eddie, the frontman Scott, and here with Sapphire as well. And we got some questions for you, so I hope you're ready for them.
I'm ready, but thank you. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate the thought.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. Now, is the bye week, busy for you too, or is it kind of like a little tame?
The bye week usually is a little tank, a little mental break. It is quite interesting, especially when it comes up a little early. 4 games into the season, it's like, is this really a break? You would expect that. That's like last year, it was after week 8, but it did give me a little time to work on a few things, including finishing up my feature on Jedrick Wills Jr., someone that's been hot, within the trade rumors and everything. So it kind of gives you that little break. It is still kind of the boring side.
Feature about him. There's a lot being said about him right now. How is he blocking all the noise out?
Yeah, it's a good question, and that's actually what the story is also about too. It's him being able to block out the noise, or attempting to, through his quiet demeanor. Somebody such as him, we don't really think much when it comes to the linemen, especially these guys larger, mass, bigger. They're like trained machines pretty much to block for their quarterback and whoever has the ball behind them. But sometimes it's like, wait, are they really? Like, how do they turn off, or how are they much calmer? And for him, he's just kind of more on the quiet side. So that's how he helps, kind of block the noise out. I thought it was interesting. He was a really good subject to speak with.
Mm.
That's good. Hey, I read this Eddie the front man. Question for you.
Yes, sir.
Deshaun Watson, the chances of him playing this Sunday. What do you get any insight on that?
Not exactly at the moment. Me and my colleagues are still trying to confirm all the reports regarding I know they said the rotator concussion injury, and I should have more insight on that come tomorrow when he's expected to speak, of course, like he is every Wednesday. So I should have more insight on that. But I know that we will speak more about the backup quarterbacks, DTR, PJ Walker. So yeah, it's all a question of the moment.
So if he's not able to go, say for whatever reason he's out for more than this week as well, do you think they're going to go looking for another quarterback, or they're going to stick with DTR at their that performance?
I think that I think if it's an injury where it's serious to the point where he has to sit out a week or two more, but hopefully not serious to the point where he is permanently out, God forbid, for the rest of the season. I think they stay with who they have and they make it work, primarily because I think in their mindset is that we have all of what we need, especially within this offensive end, to go out and try to forge anything more, bring in certain guys who weren't here during training camp, building chemistry, but kind of put it all out of whack. Kareem Hunt is the only player within the offense as the exception because, hometown kid, and he was here last year. But I think they stay within training Dorian Thompson-Robinson and working along with PJ Walker, another player who has started experience in the NFL and multiple other leagues around North America.
Interesting.
That's good to know. Now, speaking of our offensive line, as you see that we have struggled on the run, which is a shocker for us because we're built to run more pass. But our run has really struggled this year. And I know you can't replace a Nick Chubbs, but you have a guy in Kareem Hunt, and even in Ford, but they're only averaging 5 carries each a game. Do you think that's something that they're going to try to work on, where they're getting more touches, or we're going to just sit back and let them have a total of 14 carries total between 3 running backs?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Something that I also have spoken quite a bit about and wrote a bit about. I personally think that they should involve the run game more. When that performance came versus the Ravens, I was thinking just within the football knowledge and off the bat, oh, okay, they're going to emphasize the run game a bit more. And I even remember in the first quarter, as you were mentioning, the 14 carries between those guys, but like Ford literally had that 26-yard run to start off with, if not for the offensive hold there at the logo. A couple series later, Hunt runs the ball 3 straight times. He gets a first down and 12 yards within that. I'm hoping that they emphasize the run game more because honestly, their best chance right now at putting points on the board is slowing it a bit down than they already do and being able to wear the defense down through their run game. Like, there's no reason you should have that talent in Ford and Hunt and not really use them adequately. I mean, that's the reason why Hunt was even out at field after last season because they weren't using him correctly. So let's hope that they don't repeat that.
And hi, Irie, this is Sapphire. How are you?
Hi, nice to see you.
So just on that point, a player who's not getting used potentially enough. I noticed in your article, you really put a lot of focus on that, Jedrick is playing a position that he pretty much hadn't played the majority of his life.
Right.
How much, young man, do you attribute his decline in performance to that?
To him having switched the position for the first time in his football career?
Yes.
I attribute a bit of it, at least early on, but I try not to give it too much credit because, and maybe it's the unfair argument, but as a professional athlete, from the outside, you're expected to learn everything within, 1 week at that. And for him, it hasn't been one 1 week, it's been 3 seasons plus, and he's early on within his fourth season. And the unfairness is that if he doesn't fully adjust or learn whatever has to be done to play this position to the best as they're expecting him to, his job is on the line. That's just the nature of the business. So even if this is a position he can never play or even do as well at, he better find a way to fake it until he makes it, or he's going to lose his job.
It's so fascinating because, I think I recall, and I think you touched on this in your article as well. He came out of Bama and being touted as one of the most athletic offensive linemen, right, in that draft class. Based on your observations, your experience, Irene, what is the disconnect with Jedrick Wills?
The disconnect between Jedrick and the rest of this offensive line, maybe, or what?
Yes, I need to be more clear. Yes, what is his disconnect with the rest of that O line?
I think it's not even so much disconnect. I think he understands the basics of what is being asked of him to do, but it's more so just the consistency. I can even remember Joe Thomas speaking about this before last season, and I know Joe being a part of the organization, some things respectfully could be said, exaggerated, or things he may not mean, but it sounds good. But I remember him saying that Wills has all pro talent, but has to construe the inconsistencies. So it's not even so much him still learning the position, but being consistent at what he can do. Because I've seen good games out of him. I've seen good performances out of him blocking last year. I've seen times where Watson needs that extra blocking, he gives it to him. But we see it more on the wrong side than on the right side, I think.
And see, when I hear things like that with an athlete that has so much talent but is inconsistent, I think, what are the things happening off the field that may be a distraction for the performance? And I'm not asking you to, try to answer that. We don't know. God bless everyone. We don't know what's going on with someone's lives, but that's what I go to because he is inconsistent.
So let me ask you this, and I'm gonna touch on because it's going to go with what she's saying. So, as we know, Big Jones was a left tackle at Ohio State, and Wills was a right tackle. Would you think about switching them for now until, because Batonio's out? You don't have the right tackle right now. So why not switch them up? So because this is to their natural positions. Because right now you got Jones playing right tackle where he used to play left tackle, and Wilson. Yeah, he's been 3 years, but he's still. If I play, I know this position. I know right tackle like the back of my hand because it's something I've been used to all my life. Why not switch them? So that, I mean, that's just my
I think that's a great
observation.
question for Irie.
It definitely is, and that's something that we've spoken about or it's come into conversation as well. And I think it does sound so as to wait if they were so good at their primary positions prior to the NFL, why not just switch them to what they have been used to? And I can't even disagree with that. I think that the simpler the better. But sadly, we are not in those rooms with Andrew Berry and the rest of the management and the coaching staff to see what they think on this. But I would have no problem with that, especially if it's for the benefit of this offensive line, which, as you said, is usually cited among the best, but has yet to show that right now early on.
I have a question from one of our StreamYard watchers. They want to know, has DeJuan Jones so far been an unexpected surprise jumping in at tackle for Jack Conklin? Has he been an unexpected surprise the way
He,
he's
he
performed?
Yeah, he definitely has been. I think the main reason why is because of his lack of conditioning throughout training camp. And I could even see it at times where he is a work in progress and you're thinking, all right, let him train a bit more, get his conditioning in, but then he'll be able to be out there in the rotation and be effective. So yeah, it definitely was surprising to see him just kind of spark up out of nowhere and really be ready in command when his number was called, which came into the first half during week one at that. I'm sure he wasn't expecting that. But then that also on the other side shows the reason why he did well in week one, and yet TJ Watt give him, quite the workout that next week. But it's only up from here when it comes to the rookie.
He was ready, Irie, because he went to the Ohio State University.
Hello.
That's why he was
Hello.
ready when his number was called.
No comment.
So Irie is a graduate of Syracuse. And where else are you a graduate of, Irie? I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to give your bio
It's
before
okay.
before
Yeah.
we got going.
Yeah. I received my bachelor's degree from Prairie View A&M University, HBCU out there in Prairie View, Texas, the best in the land. And then I received my master's from Syracuse University.
So we ain't just talking to anybody, guys. We're talking to a Syracuse graduate. One of the best journalism schools in all of the country. So we dealing with somebody big time here. But I read, one of the things is we talked about the running game for a hot second. What can Kevin Stefanski and I think Kevin Stefanski admitted that he didn't put DTR in a position to be successful. I don't feel as though he's putting
Nobody
forward in a position.
Nobody in the position.
Anybody on this team, all 53 men, he's not putting them in a position to be successful. But what can they do to kind of make this running game be successful since they're not having a ton of attempts?
Well, and you mentioned journalism school. I would have to say, bring up a saying that was said quite a bit during that time. That KIS, keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
If the pass game is not working within, and if you're not able to be effective within the shorter pass game, find a way to get the run game going. I mean, it's when it comes down to it, you're gonna go through the gaps that work best. And as much as we're talking about Wills and Jones, even then we have to think about the injury that Ethan Pocher is one of the best centers in the league last season that suffered. So it's really just all about finding a way to really get it going. And this is my favorite part of it, it's not even so much the run game, but if we're going to pass it, let's make sure we incorporate Ford and Hunt in there. There's a reason why they're in the league and able to do what they can do. They can be the terrific two-way players that we see them to be. And of course, I also want to mention just briefly as well, I feel like the main players that should be spoken about quite a bit in the offense when it comes to the passing and run game are Amari Cooper and Njoku and then Ford. I'm not even worried about anybody else personally because Cooper is going to be the best out there. I hope they incorporate more of Njoku because I feel more at ease whenever he comes across the middle. And then whenever you can get Ford and Hunt within the two-way game and make them effective, I think the offense will really stride and become more simpler at that instead of trying to do too much like we saw last week.
When he was in Minnesota, Kevin Stefanski was known as being very searching for the word, very tight end usage heavy. And that's one of the things. It doesn't appear that he's in Cleveland. You mentioned David and Joku getting more targets, and Harrison Bryant, but it really doesn't seem like he's using them to the best of their abilities, and he's mainly using them for blocking schemes. Do you know why he has went away from what used to be his bread and butter when he came here?
Yeah, Harrison Bryant can't catch.
Well, besides that, but even David and Joku.
I wish I knew more within that, but I think you hit the nail on it that he's not as tight and heavy as he should be, and it kind of doesn't make sense when you think about a player that they gave a 4-year extension to, somebody who, and of course you're speaking it out of confidence, but towards the end of last season, Joku said to all of our faces, I feel me and Watson can be the type of dynamic duo that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are. Now, do I expect them to be that entirely? No. But can he be as close or a tier or two below that? Definitely. I'm unsure why Njoku was not involved as much because he can really be the trendsetter and on top of that, be the spark within the series. They used that quite a bit early on with Harrison Bryant being that series sparker. You get a couple passes to him, get the offense going. I think Njoku should be the man which they do that for.
And they pay him a lot of money, too.
Yeah, and that was the first play call in that Steelers game, the Bryant. Like, I will never get my head around that. I read, like, when you think about the chemistry in that locker room and specifically between the players as a collective and Coach Stefanski, how warm or cold is that temperature?
Oh, wow, that's a good question, man. Yeah, chemistry between them and Kevin Stefanski. I will say that they display it as warm. Uh, I'll keep it at that. Now, I will say when we're talking about player chemistry, as much as we spoke about the offense, there's no doubt in my mind of the camaraderie and chemistry within Jim Schwartz and that defense on the other side. I mean, that I know speaking about the offense, but I just want to say real briefly that I can remember last year players, even before the season went downhill, players rushing to get off the field. I remember back in training camp this year where players, defensive players specifically, took so long to get off the field just because of that camaraderie among them. And that's something that personally I'm still waiting to see entirely happen with the offense and gel together. And I think that's going to be a real testament to how they feel about this coaching staff and what could occur in the following weeks.
I appreciate that because I also like to ask you that same question as it relates to the offensive players and ABP.
I'm sorry, which question again?
I'd like to ask you that same question in terms of the chemistry, the camaraderie, if you will, the stickiness between the offensive players and ABP, the OC.
Right. I think that there is a certain stickiness, but it's also that sense of waiting for it to happen. It's kind of like not even so much waiting to hit the ceiling, but just waiting for things to gel. I think that they have a certain belief in Stefanski and Alex Van Pelt, but they're just waiting for it to occur. And I think that stickiness could go dry in the next couple of weeks. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that for sure.
So am I hearing you say that the players may look at them as a package and not individually?
Give or take at times. It really depends. Sometimes these aren't certain things that they will disclose. They'll kind of see it all as we're all one, all for one for all. But it is a possibility of them seeing them as a package or an individual that primarily because of their positions and how they affect to the offense.
I really appreciate that because when I think about this conversation and I think about your clear observations, Rachel's clear observations, anyone that's watching the team on Sundays, clear observations that we're not running enough. We're not getting the ball into the playmakers' hands. I just wonder, from a player's perspective, if they're making the same observations and how that's impacting potentially like their motivation.
Right.
I look at the impact that Deion Sanders has had on a brand new program, right? Those men are leaving it all out there for him, right? And we're professional. We have a professional team here. I don't see that,
I agree.
Right?
On the offensive side.
Right. I don't see that on the offensive side. And I'm still trying to get over, with all due respect, Coach K throwing Deshaun under the bus. Like, to me, it doesn't take a rocket science to understand, you keep your dirty laundry inside, right? You want to keep your house protected. you want to reveal and just, hey, this is where I'm at. These are my failings, my strengths, whatever, and trust that coach, right? To really be honest. Is Deshaun his guy? And I didn't think I got that after Stefanski's post-game presser last week. So
Right.
just to lower
Uh,
the temperature a little bit, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about the Browns. I just
that's
want to
good.
do
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
No, I totally 100% agree with you right there, Sapphire. And this is something I have for you, Ari.
Right.
Is and it's something me and Sapphire and Rachel also spoke on, but I just since you have the more insight with them, is it Stefanski calling all the plays, or do they have a system where AVP writes up the plays and they got a play set up where now Stefanski get to go through this, they say 20 plays um, that they already drew up, and or is it just straight Stefanski all day long?
It's a mixture of everything. There's some things we and by we I mean other journalists and myself try to get out of Stefanski within those pressures, but he won't detail within in declosing it. But I will say it's a mixture of Stefanski being at times the primary play caller, and not just with him and AVP, but also them having a guy up somewhere upstairs or on the sideline that help within the analytics side and the probability side. I can remember that being a theme when they blew that lead to the Jets last year. And I remember
Right.
questions regarding, them having a guy up in that category up there in which, he knew exactly what we were talking about. So it's really a mixture of everything when it comes to the play calls. Now, I will say, to add on to what was said prior to, I think the main question is that we're going to be thinking about in the following weeks is not so much Watson being Stefanski's guy, but if Stefanski is Watson's guy, I think there's a possibility in which Watson, you know, if he's sitting out, if he's sending a message at that, because of the fact that they're lacking old school football, they don't throw it down, they don't throw the run down the other team's throat enough. There's a lack of that in this offense. So that's just a couple of thoughts I wanted to mention as well. But I do keep a lookout on that. Not if Stefanski is Watson's guy, but not if Watson is Stefanski's guy, but it's Stefanski Watson's guy.
Right on, Ivy.
I heard that Eric Bieniemy was Watson's guy.
I also heard that as well. They try to they drop little dimes here and there, periodically just to see if we pick up on them, but it's all relative at this point.
So my thing was, and you guys kind of touched on it, but is Stefanski on the hot seat?
Stefanski is on what I call the warm seat. It is not entirely hot, but the temperature is rising a bit, especially with the fact that not just myself, but others, which I've heard from other outlets, are already having their concerns and worries about Stefanski by the bye week. And that's not good, especially with the bye week being only 4 games into the season. He's that. Yes. No, yeah. I mean, I was just gonna briefly end it off saying that it's not just Stefanski, but a lot of legacies, a lot of jobs are on the line here, from Stefanski to Andrew Berry at that. There's so much at stake here. So Stefanski is on the warm seat at the moment.
Okay, so this is what I was wondering. So I told this to Rachel as well, and I want your opinion on it. So I said if the Browns wind up winning, say having a winning record, 11-6,
right.
I feel that, and it can be because of the defense. No matter what's the reason, I feel if they have a winning record, Stefanski gets to stay. But say they have a losing record, say they go down 8-9. Do Stefanski stay?
I think because of the theme of the season being win or bust at the very, very playoffs, double-digit wins. If none of that or even 2 of those objectives that I mentioned is accomplished, he is out. They have to have double-digit wins. They have to make the playoffs because of the fact people were calling for Stefanski's job during the offseason, and Andrew Berry once again stated his confidence in Stefanski. So that is his guy. Stefanski is Berry's guy. He's saying, no, this is the right guy for the job. He will help lead and anchor us to the promised land. And if that even an eighth of that is not delivered in the following weeks, then yeah, he's on the hot seat. He's done for. Finito.
That's so fascinating because then my follow-up question to that question is if Stefanski is Barry's guy, and if Stefanski is not here, where is Barry going to be?
Yeah, time will tell, right?
Yeah. And for me too, you're thinking about the rest of the season. I'm thinking about Sunday's game against the 49ers. There's potential for this to be an epic can of whoop ass being opened up on us, right?
Yeah.
And so if we are losing by 20,
Yes.
right? Then what?
That's fact. That's 100% facts.
That's very factual right there. I know it is kind of backwards of me speaking about this season because I definitely was not trying to think about Sunday, especially when you're talking about a can of whoop. San Francisco laid it down on Dallas. I saw that. I'm like, oh God, what are they going to do to Cleveland next week if Watson isn't out there? So there is a potential in that. And there's a potential if that were to happen, then Cleveland Brown Stadium clears out by the end of the third quarter and reinforcements, adjustments will be made. Because not only will it be us speaking about this, but it'll be people within the franchise in Barry's ear saying something has to be done or this season is a wrap.
Yeah, because see what we saw against Baltimore was the fact that our offense was atrocious, which made our defense look way worse than it was. Because if your offense is putting up something, if they give you something, you can't give them 7-3 and outs in a row and expect your defense to be amazing.
Yeah. You're right. You're totally right.
All right, last question. Oh, go ahead, Irie. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. It's all right. I was just gonna briefly answer to that and saying that I do think the offense. I was just gonna briefly say that the offense should have been simplified. I don't know why the game plan stayed as if they're trying to make Thompson Robinson, Watson Jr. out there. That was not the right move. I don't have to go more into that. Defensively, and this could be the wrong thing to say, but I do give him the benefit of the doubt. I do give him a pass because every team doesn't have a Lamar Jackson caliber quarterback or even close to that in the league. Every team does not have that kind of player. So no disrespect to Joe Burrow, no disrespect to Kenny Pickett, but they're not on Lamar's level, nor have they been in a while in my eyes. So I give props to the Lamar Jackson experience winning that in the end, and I know they'll make reinforcements ahead of Sunday and throughout the rest of the season. Shorts don't play about that.
Yeah, but when your team constantly starts on your side of the ball, on your side of the field, I don't care what team, I don't care. You can have 85 Bears out there. You can have the 2,000 Ravens out there. It's going to get ugly for you.
It will. Yeah, it will. And I do get the benefit of doubt because I'm sure on the show the first 3 weeks, it was like, wow, this even's just for real. The first sign of trouble was against this team, right? As much as we don't care about teams, it doesn't matter. The first sign of trouble was when meeting a Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. I doubt it will be entirely that when going up against Brock Purdy. To me at least.
Okay, last question, Irie. I appreciate you staying over the allotted time that we had. I truly do, because our show's about to end in a second anyway. But like I said, you have an open invitation to come back every week if you want to. We can set that up. But we do have a question from our audience, and they said, will the front office make a trade before the October 31st deadline for a need? And you got about 2 minutes to answer that.
I think that is a possibility. I think we've spoken about it recently. I think that would be within primarily on the offensive side. I think that they feel the defense is all right where it's at, so it would have to do with either the offensive or both the offensive line unit or in the wide receiving core. I know there's been rumors regarding Bowles from Denver, even Jerry Jeudy at that. It all could you just don't know how it goes sometimes in this league, especially in this division. Anything can happen. So there is a possibility for a trade being occurred. But I would say Sunday and furthermore will attest to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things that you just have a wait and see approach to see what's going to happen next. And, that's where we're at with this team. But we definitely need receivers because the receivers that we have are not working out right now. And I don't know who Deshaun Watson is going to throw the ball to other than Amari Cooper because it's not working. And, you can hit Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt, but your wide receivers have to do a job. So, I want to thank you so much for joining her in the huddle today, from Sapphire, from Eddie, from myself. We completely appreciate you. You're a great interview. You're wonderful. And like I said, hopefully you'd be willing to come back on with us some more again during this season.
Oh, well, most definitely. Thank you. I'm sure we could probably do this all night, but I thank you again for the honor and everything, and I look forward to coming back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And you've been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOV